Good morning, students. Today is 26th February 2021 and we'll be taking first session on parallel computing. This is the book for parallel computing by Anand Gram. This is the cover page for the book. Okay, the soft copy of the book is downloaded and is available on my Moodle website also. These are the contents. Entire book is in your syllabus. So we'll be beginning with the introduction to parallel computing. Okay. Motivating parallelism, scope of parallelism, organization and contents of the text. Okay, then beginning with the parallel programming platform, implicit parallelism. Then we have chapter 3, chapter 4. Likewise, there are total 12 chapters. Dynamic programming, 12, 13 chapters. Fast Fourier transformation. Okay, now let's begin with the topic. Parallelism, motivating parallelism. Parallelism means something which happens simultaneously. Say for example, while watching TV, you can eat food also. That is one example of parallelism. That is both the things can be done together, as well as you can talk also. So three things can be done together. So this is the best example of parallelism, doing things simultaneously. Okay, let's begin with the why this parallelism concept has been developed, and because of this, what are the things which we can incorporate. So development of parallel softwares has traditionally been thought as a time and effort intensive. This can be largely attributed to inherent complexity of specifying and coordinating concurrent tasks. See, parallelism means what? Executing the task concurrently. Concurrent task means what? That it is in the time sharing mode. टाइम शेयरिंग मोड मीन्स कि अगर दो टास्क एक साथ परफॉर्म हो रहे हैं तो कंट्रोल सीपीयू कंट्रोल गोज टू फर्स्ट टास्क and it executes that task for some time, say specifically 1 nanosecond. Then it switches over to the next task and executes 1 second of that task. Then again it switches back to the previous one and execute 1 nanosecond of that task. Simultaneously, in this way, two tasks can be performed because this processor is able to execute in a concurrent manner. So for that, there are lots of algorithms which are being developed. This is one type of algorithm where switching over is done, and there are standardized environment also. The software development toolkits are also available to perform the task in parallelism. Okay, so when viewed in context of the brisk rate of development of microprocessors, one is tempted to question the need of devoting significant effort towards exploiting parallelism as a means of accelerating applications. See what happens to accelerate the applications, to incorporate the applications. We use the concept of parallelism, means through the application mode, more than one things can be done. Okay, after all, it takes 2 years years to develop a parallel application, during which time the underlying hardware and the software both are being involved into it. So it is not only the software which is responsible for doing the task parallelism, it is because of the hardware also the things can be done. Like dual core operating system hai हमारे पास, dual core hardware system hai. Okay, likewise, there are some unmistakable trends in the hardware design which indicates that uniprocessor or implicitly parallel architecture may not be able to sustain the rate of realizable performance increments in the future. Means the hardware is also responsible to perform the task in parallelism, as well as the software is also there. So the programming should be done in such a way so that we can have concurrent tasks to be performed. Implicit parallelism as well as other bottlenecks such as data path and the memory is also the points which are responsible for the parallelism. Standardized hardware interfaces have reduced the turnaround time for the development of a microprocessor to a parallel machine based on the microprocessor. See, what happens when we implement this parallelism? This saves the time because the same task can be performed in, say, for example, 10 it takes serially अगर हम serialism का concept बोलते हैं तो पहला task पूरा perform होने के बाद में ही second task perform होता है. So serialization में उस second task को has to wait till the first task gets complete. So if the concurrent tasking concept or some other type of algorithm is incorporated where parallelism is developed, so it saves the time also. So considerable progress has been made in standardizing of programming environments to ensure a longer life cycle of parallel applications. So more emphasis is given on doing the task parallelism, and parallel applications have been developed. Okay, so all these present compelling arguments is in favor of parallel computing algorithm, parallel computing platform. So parallel computing platform is always a beneficial part from point of view of saving time, processor utilization, completing the task within the time. Okay, now computational power argument from transistors to flops. Okay, let's see the journey from from the hardware. We were using first generation computers, second generation computers. Now we were in fifth generation, sixth generation computers, where this transistors are being converted to flops. So the complexity for minimum component cost has increased at a rate of roughly a factor of 2 per year. Certainly over the short term, this rate can be expected to continue if not to increase. Over the longer term, the rate of increase is a bit more uncertain, although there is no reason to believe it will not remain nearly constant for at least 10 years. That means by 1975, the number of the components per integrated circuit for the minimum cost will be 65,000. See, nowadays what happens, जब हमारा computers launch हुआ था 1975 में 70s और 80s में, उस समय कंप्यूटर की कॉस्ट मिनिमम जो है 65,000 to 1 लाख हुआ करती थी. एंड दैट टाइम वी वर यूजिंग इंटीग्रेटेड सर्किट्स, आईसी चिप्स वगैरह यूज होता था, ये ट्रांजिस्टर्स यूज होता था, उसमें कंपोनेंट्स लगे रहते थे. अब क्या है, एवरीथिंग इज इन इंटीग्रेटेड सर्किट, मदरबोर्ड पे सब चीजें इंटीग्रेटेड है. यू कैन सी इट ऑल्सो, सब की सब जो है एम्बेडेड प्रोग्रामिंग की होती है, एम्बेडेड इनबिल्ट चिप्स वगैरह अवेलेबल है. तो थिंग्स आर बीइंग चेंज एज वेल एज द कॉस्ट इज ऑल्सो रिड्यूस्ड. 10 साल में उसकी कॉस्ट भी रिड्यूस हो गई है. नाउडेज 30,000 for 25,000 में you will get the things which works like parallelism. Parallel को कंप्यूटेशन को इनकॉर्पोरेट करने के लिए आपको 25-30 हजार 20 हजार में भी आ जाता है. इफ यू टॉक अबाउट द एंड्रॉइड फोन 3,000 4,000 में भी you will get the facilities. So his reasoning was based on empirical long linear relationship between the device complexity and the time observed over the 3 data points. Okay, so now 1975 से लेकर अभी तक का कितना डिफरेंस आया है? It is the difference of the memory difference, then the difference in the technology, difference in the operating system, difference in the hardware structure, minimization, chips इसका size भी कितना reduce हो चुका है. All these things are being there. So there is no room left to squeeze anything out by being clever. Going forward from here, we have to depend on 2 size factors, bigger dies and finer dimensions. Say for example, this is one of the quote given by the person. He says कि चीजें कितनी रिड्यूस हो चुकी हैं, जितनी उसकी साइज कम हो गई वो चीजें रिड्यूस हो गई है और उनके डायमेंशंस फाइनर होते जा रहे हैं और कॉस्ट भी रिड्यूस हो रही है. ओके, he revised his rate of circuit complexity doubling to 18 months and project from 1975 onwards at this rescheduled rate. Okay, this curve came to be known as Moore law. Moore's law. Moore law states that the circuit complexity doubles every 18th month. सर्किट की कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी हर 18 महीने में डबल हो जा रही है. कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी मतलब उसके अंदर इतने मिनिएचर फॉर्म में कर दे रहे हैं तो सारी की सारी चीजें छोटे से माइक्रो प्रोसेसर चिप में अवेलेबल है. इवन स्मार्ट कार्ड इज हैविंग अ माइक्रो प्रोसेसर चिप. आपके एटीएम कार्ड में माइक्रो प्रोसेसर चिप है. दैट इज वन ऑफ द स्मार्ट टेक्नोलॉजी. Okay, so by relating component density and increase in die size to the computing power of a device, Moore's law has been extrapolated to state that amount of computing power available at a given cost double approximately every 18 months. Murray क्या बोलता है? Murray's law says that the complexity has been increased after every 18 months. Okay, so the limit of Murray's law have been the subject of extensive debate in the past few years. So Murray's का जो statement है उसके ऊपर काफी debate हुआ है. It is possible to fabricate devices with very large transistor counts. So how we use these transistors to achieve increasing rates of computation is a key architecture challenge. So a logical resource to this is rely on parallelism. Both explicit and implicit parallelism के बारे में बात की है कि ट्रांजिस्टर्स की कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी इंक्रीज करते जा रहे हैं, साइज रिड्यूस करते जा रहे हैं, तो उसका computational power भी increase होना चाहिए. So to increase the computational power, the concept of parallelism has been introduced. Both implicit parallelism and explicit parallelism concept has been introduced. The next factor which is there in parallelism is the memory and the disk speed argument. The overall speed of a computation is determined not just by speed of the processor but also by the ability of the memory system to feed data to it. तो जो speed है हमारी, that speed of a processor is not only depends upon the applications which we are using, but it is the memory which is also responsible for hard disk space, memory, processor. All these things are responsible for the speed of a processor. So while clock rates of high-end processors have increased at roughly 40% per year over the last decade, DRAM access time has only improved at the rate of roughly 10% per year over this interval. DRAM means dynamic RAM. Dynamic RAM means random access memory. Dynamic random access memory has been increased. That is the access time. कितनी देर लगाता है वो किसी को read write operation perform करने के लिए. That has been increased 10% in the last in 1 year. So coupled with increase in the instruction execution per cycle, this gap between the processor speed and the memory presents a tremendous performance bottleneck. मतलब जितना maximum speed increase हो सकती थी, जितना processor का स्पीड इंक्रीज हो सकता था, कितना मेमोरी इंक्रीज हो सकता था, या फिर ये बोलेंगे कि इंस्ट्रक्शन पर सेकंड इंक्रीज हो सकती थी, वो अपनी मैक्सिमम लिमिट तक पहुंच चुका है. फिर भी चांसेस देयर इज अ ग्रोथ इन दिस, बढ़ ही रहा है. This growing mismatch between the processor speed and the DRAM latency is typically the bridge by a hierarchy of successfully faster memory devices called cache memory. मतलब there is a concept of cache memory. Cache memory क्या होता है? Cache memory is a memory which is responsive, which is a small size memory and it keeps the frequently accessed information. जो frequently accessed information है वो cache memory में रहती है, but उसका size हमेशा छोटा रहता है. So now the concept has been introduced to increase the size of the cache memory so that the speed increases. So data जो है वो cache memory में ना रहकर अगर वो main memory से access हो रहा है तो it takes time, because from main memory it switches to the cache memory, and from cache memory the processor uses the data to access it. So there are things being implemented to increase the speed, and to increase the speed these are the things which are being responsible. That is cache memory का size कितना होना चाहिए, ये भी एक point है. So in addition to the latency, the net effective bandwidth between the DRAM and the processor possesses other problems for sustained computation rates. So other than this, the latency time means the time taken to keep the read write head to perform the read write operations. Okay, so that time should be minimized. Latency time should be minimized. मतलब समय वेस्ट नहीं होना चाहिए कि अगर हमको रीड या राइट ऑपरेशन करना है तो वो पॉइंटर उस लोकेशन पे जाएगा, तो जो समय लगता है उस पॉइंटर को प्लेस करने के लिए, रीड या राइट ऑपरेशन करने के लिए, उसको लेटेंसी टाइम बोलते हैं. सो दैट लेटेंसी टाइम शुड आल्सो बी रिड्यूस्ड. So the overall performance of the memory system is determined by the fraction of the total memory request that can be satisfied from the cache. तो हम memory system का performance कैसे पता करेंगे कि कितना समय लेता है वो memory के ऊपर जब request आ जाता है. कैश मेमोरी मतलब मेन मेमोरी से कैश मेमोरी में डेटा ट्रांसफर होता है, फिर कैश मेमोरी से वो परफॉर्म करता है ऑपरेशन रीड राइट का, तो कितना टाइम लगता है इस सब प्रोसेसिंग के लिए. तो जितना ये टाइम कम लगेगा, जितना ये अच्छा रहेगा, उतना परफॉर्मेंस अच्छा रहेगा. सो मेमोरी सिस्टम परफॉर्मेंस इज एड्रेस्ड in greater details in the next session. So parallel platform typically yield better memory system performance because they provide larger aggregate cache. तो जो पैरेलल कंप्यूटेशन प्रोसेस है उसमें कैश साइज बड़ा होता है और बैंडविड्थ बड़ी होती है। बैंडविड्थ मींस द रेट एट विच द डेटा ट्रांसफर फ्रॉम वन सोर्स टू डेस्टिनेशन, तो वो ज्यादा हो जाता है, बैंडविड्थ ज्यादा होती है, और कैश का साइज ज्यादा होता है। जब ये दोनों चीजें ज्यादा हो जाएगी तो पैरेललिज्म जो है उसमें कंप्यूटेशन में ज्यादा आउटपुट थ्रूपुट देगा वो। ओके, द प्रिंसिपल दैट the principles that are at the heart of parallel algorithm, namely locality of the data reference, also lend themselves to cache-friendly serial algorithms. मतलब अब इसमें मेन प्रिंसिपल जो पैरेललिज्म का है वो लोकेलिटी ऑफ रेफरेंस। लोकेलिटी ऑफ रेफरेंस मींस द लोकेशन एट वेयर द डेटा इज, द लोकेशन वेयर द डेटा इज, locality of reference means the location where the data is available, and the reference data reference is available, that is locality of reference, and also lend themselves to cache friendly serial algorithms. Serial algorithms can be implemented to access the data from the cache. So this argument can be extended to disk, where parallel platforms can be used to achieve high aggregate bandwidth to secondary storage. So parallel algorithm yield insight into the development of out of core computation. Some of the fastest growing application areas of parallel computing in data servers, that is database servers, web servers, rely not so much on their high aggregate computation rates, but rather on ability to pump data out at a faster rate. मतलब जब पैरेललिज्म का कंसेप्ट आ रहा है तो उसमें पैरेललिज्म के जो मेन सर्वर्स हैं, जैसे डेटा सर्वर्स है, डेटाबेस सर्वर्स है, वेब सर्वर्स है, इनका जो प्रोसेसिंग स्पीड है वो डिपेंड करता है कि कितनी रेट से वो डेटा पंप कर पाता है, या तो उसके अंदर फीड कर पाता है या उसमें से निकाल पाता है। That is the main point when we talk about the parallel computing. Data communication argument. As the networking infrastructure involves the internet is one of the largest heterogeneous parallel distributed computing environment that is responsible for data communication. तो इंटरनेट के ऊपर जो डेटा कम्युनिकेशन होता है, डेटा ट्रांसफर होता है वन लोकेशन टू अनदर लोकेशन, so that also is one of the main feature of main argument when we talk about the parallel computing. तो कितनी स्पीड से हमारा डेटा ट्रांसफर हो रहा है, that is bandwidth, that is calculated in terms of the bandwidth. तो हमारा कितना अच्छा bandwidth है. Like SETI, Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence project, utilizes the power of a large number of home computers to analyze electromagnetic signals from outer space. Okay, in many applications there are constraints on the location of the data resources across the internet. For example, such an application is mining a large commercial data sets distributed over a relative low bandwidth network. देखो वही आया कि अगर लार्ज एप्लीकेशंस है उनको हमको एक्सेस करना है, उनको प्ले स्टोर से डाउनलोड करना है, तो वी रिक्वायर हाई स्पीड नेटवर्क कनेक्शन. तो बैंडविड्थ जो है अगर वो लो हुआ तो बैंडविड्थ लो हुआ, प्रोसेसर स्पीड कितनी भी अच्छी हो, सब कुछ अच्छा हो, तो यू कैन नॉट गेट द information quickly downloaded. So that data communication is basically depends upon the speed, that is bandwidth of the internet connection. Okay, now what is the scope of parallel computing? कितना स्कोप है, कितने एरिया तक वो लिमिटेड है? पैरेलल कंप्यूटिंग हैज मेड अ ट्रेमेंडस इंपैक्ट ऑन अ वेराइटी ऑफ द एरियाज रेंजिंग फ्रॉम कंप्यूटेशनल साइमल्टेनियसली फॉर साइंटिफिक एंड इंजीनियरिंग एप्लीकेशंस. कहाँ हम पैरेलल कंप्यूटिंग के कंसेप्ट्स को यूज कर सकते हैं? पैरेलल कंप्यूटिंग का कंसेप्ट जो है वो कौन से एरियाज में यूज होता है, दैट इज रियल लाइफ में कहाँ यूज होता है? इट इज बीन यूज इन इंजीनियरिंग एंड डिजाइन, जो हमारा ऑटोकैड वगैरह है, ये सॉफ्टवेयर है, या डिजाइनिंग है, जो बिल्डिंग डिजाइन रहता है, या फिर ये कंस्ट्रक्शन वर्क है, इन सब के लिए पैरेललिज्म जो है वो पैरेलल कंप्यूटिंग कंसेप्ट जो है वो यूज आ रहा है. साइंटिफिक एप्लीकेशंस है. साइंटिफिक एप्लीकेशंस मींस जहाँ पर कुछ कैलकुलेशन वर्क कर रहे हैं, प्रेडिक्शंस वर्क कर रहे हैं. देयर आल्सो मेडिकल टेक्नोलॉजी है, डिजीजेस है. Nowadays you can see with doctors also MRI मशीन है, जो आपके टेस्टिंग है, वो सब चीजें आजकल क्या हो गई हैं, these are computerized. So these are the different areas where the parallel computing is being involved, that is scientific applications. Then commercial applications where it is basically depends upon the business point of view, जहाँ products की के बारे में हम बात कर रहे हैं कि प्रोडक्ट्स का सेलिंग है, ये है, तो डेटा माइनिंग का एक सब्जेक्ट है डेटा माइनिंग, दैट इज टू गेट एक्सट्रैक्ट द इंफॉर्मेशन फ्रॉम द इंटरनेट, परफॉर्मिंग क्लस्टरिंग, क्लासिफिकेशन, टाइम सीरीज एनालिसिस, तो ये सब जो है that is one of the area of parallel computing applications of parallel computing commercial applications. एप्लीकेशन इन कंप्यूटर सिस्टम, मतलब अगर आप एक कंप्यूटर की बात करें तो वहां पर बहुत सारे एप्लीकेशंस जो रन होते हैं वो पैरेललिज्म में रन होना चाहिए, ठीक है, एक से ज्यादा एप्लीकेशंस रन होने चाहिए उसमें। जब हम एप्लीकेशन रन हो रही है तो वहां पर क्रिप्टोग्राफी का कंसेप्ट एक है, क्रिप्टोग्राफी मींस द hiding the information over the network while it is being transferred from one source to destination, it is being hidden. Okay, crypto hidden information is available in some hypertext hyper form. Okay, then these are some of the areas, application areas. Let's recall all those areas again. The scope of the parallel computing, that is applications in engineering and design, then scientific application is the area where parallel computing is used, then commercial applications where the parallel computing is being used, applications in the software computer system. Okay, tomorrow we'll begin with organization and contents of the text.